Hello dear friends, welcome again to our channel, The Dancer's Book. In today's video I'm going to talk about the 7 types of Rumba Walk. So for those of you that are familiar with international Latin dancing, Rumba Walk will be extremely helpful tool for you, regardless what type of dance you're trying to do at this point. Maybe a cha-cha, maybe a rumba, maybe a paso doble for that matter. But again, 7 Rumba Walks. Now, everyone is familiar with the syllabus book, and in the syllabus book you do have the Rumba Walks. However, based on the body structure of the person, based on the weight, the height, and maybe the way that the feet are turned and so forth, we may have to adjust certain techniques to make sure that the person is feeling good when moving and looking good as well. Now, the 7 types of Rumba Walk that we're going to discuss today are going to be the forward walk with a straight knee, the backwards walk, again with a straight knee, the checked forward walk. The checked forward walk typically is being used to change directions, okay? And it's extremely important for the gentleman, because typically the gentleman is the one that it's leading those type of movements, the change of directions. Now, there are also 4 more walks. One of them is the forward walk turning. The forward walk turning typically is being used when dancing certain figures like Alemana, for example, okay? And then we also have the delayed forward knee straight. The delayed forward knee straight, again, I will most likely demonstrate that type of walk in our Alemana figure. We do have the delayed forward with knee compressed. The delay forward with knee compressed, typically the follower or the lady is going to dance that way of moving usually. We also have the delayed back walk, okay, the delayed back walk. Now, feel free to apply all of these movements, all of these walks in not only your Rumba, but also in your cha-cha routines as well. Now, when practicing, especially right now I'm recording the video during the COVID-19, the coronavirus, and I'm at home. So obviously the space that I have is not as much as if I was to be dancing in our dance studio in Glencoe. With that being said, I have to adjust. So I may have to separate my choreography to smaller pieces just to adjust everything that I'm doing. But by implementing the 7 types, again, the 7 types of Rumba walks, I'm hoping to improve every single part of the choreographies that I am, working on. Now, besides talking about the 7 types of Rumba walks, we're also going to discuss the posture, the balance, the proper footwork, and of course the correct weight change that is absolutely crucial when executing it. Generally speaking, when we are talking about international Latin type of dancing, we're looking for a vertical body structure. We're looking for very precise footwork, long neck, shoulders down, and obviously eye level, appropriate eye level. Now, let's begin with the forward walk with a straight knee. And before we execute the actual step, I'm going to talk about posture for a minute. So it's extremely important for you to experience a very high and expanded torso. That's probably the #1 thing that I would expect to see from a decent Latin dancer. Now, the center has to be well picked up, and obviously the bottom needs to be well tucked in. From here, we're looking to see that the shoulders are well leveled down, and of course the very, very much so long neck. The head position has to be aligned with the spine, and going down to the feet as itself, both feet needs to be turned out, okay? So the natural turning out of the feet is quite important. Often when we're teaching, we're talking about the so-called V shape. Now, when we're commencing a step in our forward walk, one thing that we need to address is the actual timing. With that being said, there's a foot timing and there's also a body timing. Now, When we're commencing a step, we always commence from the body. With that being said, we should always feel that the body as itself, or the center, commences the step. From here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to soften the back foot and bring it very close, inner, feet coming together. Often people call that the brushing action. From here, what I need to do is I need to strike my right foot forward without any hesitation, and I have to completely press the entire upper body over the right foot in my case. Step. I'm going to demonstrate that from a different angle. Right foot is behind me. I'm fully on my left foot. Now, before I do it again, let's acknowledge the fact that, again, the body is the one that actually commences the step. That's extremely important. You may see how I'm kind of shifting my body weight. So it's important for you to get the feel of kind of falling over the step. So from here, I'm going to bring the foot under and then strike the step forward. Okay, now you can do the very same type of exercise with the left foot of yours. First and most important, you have to be well aligned over the standing foot, which in my case right now happens to be the right foot. I'm going to soften underneath and then strike the foot in a turned out V shape. Now, the next thing that I would like to discuss in our forward walk is the actual hip action. What ends up happening is there is a pendulum action from the hip, and that's kind of helping me to bring the foot in. And now from here, when I'm striking forward, naturally the hip has to go with the foot, right? So they are not dancing in an opposition, they're in fact dancing together. The upper body needs to remain rather vertical. We do have a forward poise, but it's not over exaggerated, okay? So just be careful. Again, I'm going to do it from this angle. And 2. Since I already mentioned that there is a foot timing and body timing, let's clarify what those are. Foot timing is every time when you're striking your foot on a specific beat, specific timing of the music. Okay, so for example, if let's just say you're stepping on 2, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2. With that being said, there's a lot of halves and quarters in between every step of ours. Alright friends, since we already discussed how to do the forward walk, it's time for us for the second out of the 7 types of Rumba walk, the back walk, the back straight walk. For the exercise, I'm going to have my left foot in front of me, body well picked up. Everything has to be aligned, okay? So if you have a back-weighted position or even over-exaggerated forward position, that will be rather incorrect. So look for more verticality. Left foot in front. Now both feet needs to be naturally turned out as we have earlier discussed. From here, when I'm commencing the movement backwards, I'm going to pull the foot underneath without moving of the upper body. Okay, so it's simply a foot underneath. It's very important that the heel are going to brush and that everything will become close, close, close. From here, when I'm going backwards, I'm going to do a bow flat. When I'm doing the bow flat, I'm fully transitioning the upper body over the foot. What's extremely important for you when you're practicing all types of walks, but especially those two, is to be aware of where exactly your upper body is. If you have disconnected from the clarity of your upper body weight change, then you cannot expect to have a productive movement. Okay, now from here I'm going to demonstrate the same exercise. Right foot will be free. I'm on my left foot. Okay, hips are well aligned. Now what will end up happening is I'm going to pull from the hip flexor, feet come together, and then from here I'm going to strike back. As you can see, both of my legs are straight. Now in between, when I'm having a transition from foot to foot, right, when I'm brushing and so forth, the foot that it's moving is allowed to soften through the knees, okay? With that being said, take a look at my right foot again. When I'm moving backwards, I'm in fact softening it before I strike it backwards. Once I settle on the foot, once I complete my action, I do have to have both knees straight. And one more time from a slightly different angle. And 2, 3, 4, 1, 2. Dear fellows, before we continue with the third type of walk, I would like to clarify something for while practicing. You want to make sure that you practice with and without music. You want to make sure that you alternate slow with a very fast music. With that being said, you have to be able to move throughout with your steps regardless of the speed as itself. Now, while practicing it, and especially during our educational videos, obviously we're trying to demonstrate everything quite slow. With that being said, when you're watching it, it's hopefully easier to understand what we are trying to achieve. And of course, you can build up a better muscle memory. But once the music starts, for example, in your back walk, you will have a pretty much constant, right, striking of the feet. So you'll have a continuation of the movement, and it would not be choppier for that matter. All right, guys, pay attention because this is your check forward lock. The check forward lock is going to give you the chance to change direction for the follower. So it's extremely important for you to understand and to practice that step. Now, I'm going to commence the step starting on my right foot. Okay, so from here I'm going to go close, then strike to a flat. From here I'm going to soften in between and strike forward. In my forward step here on the left foot, my ankle needs to be extra turned out. So if you think about something that can stop you, that's the inside part of your foot. With that being said, the more you turn it out, the better. Now, this is a recommendation. This is not must do. Okay, so every person moves a bit different. Every person needs different different feel of the floor. With that being said, if someone feels like no need to turn it as much as I just explained and I did it, that's perfectly fine. So it's not obligatory to put it this way. I'm going to demonstrate from a different angle and then we'll finish the figure. Stepping forward, extra turn on that left. Now from here, pay attention what I'm going to do on the right. As you can see, I'm doing my check right here. So everything is well compressed, okay? I do have the so-called foot pressure on my right foot. From here, I'm going to change weight backwards, straighten up, and pull my left foot underneath, replace weight. Okay, now this is the one check that requires you placing the feet close together instead of keeping it in a natural opening. This is specifically for the guys. Demonstrating again. And there is a weight change on the count number 4. And step forward, rotate, extra rotation on the left foot, placing, check underneath, that stops you. From here, replace weight, pick up your center. When pulling the foot, make sure that you fully rotate. And as you can see, I hope, and I'm going to turn this way, my feet are well placed together. They're not remaining in a V shape. Okay, so you want to make sure that you're aware of that. Okay, different angle. Forward, forward, check, replace, feet together, check. All right, friends, it's time for us to learn how to do the forward walk turn. Now, my right foot is going to be free. What I'm going to do is I'm going to do a forward walk in between, step forward, fully arrive, and there's 2 ways of executing that forward walk turn. The first way is by compressing down towards the right side of the hip and rotating. From here, I'm going to arrive on the left foot, forward walk, compressing down, rotating, and obviously repeating. Again on the left, step forward on the right, rotation, arrive on the left, step forward on the right, rotation. Now, the way that I just demonstrated it was by compressing down towards my hip flexors. It gives me a fantastic feel of the floor and how connected I am with my own body. It's an absolutely fantastic way of dancing it. Now, another way of dancing it, which is absolutely correct as well, is by having a little hip lift, and I'm going to explain that. Slightly different angle maybe. Again, the right foot will be free. Forward walk first and step forward. Now what I'm going to do is, I hope that you can see it on the video, my hand is actually going to be placed on the left side of my hip. What I'm going to do is I'm going to elevate the hip flexor while rotating over my right foot and then compressing down. I'll demonstrate that once again. I'm going to brush in between, step forward, elevate the hip flexor while rotating. From here, I'm going to complete my weight change over the left foot, and of course, continue with the next step of mine, which would be again hip lift over the left foot and then replacing weight. Now, once again, my personal preference is the one that the hip is actually compressing towards the floor, but it's completely fine if you decide on having the hip elevation as well. Alright guys, it's time for us to work on the family of 3 delayed walks. The first one that I'm going to talk about is the forward walk, delayed walk with a straight knee. And the example that I'm going to use is actually Alemana, the ladies part. Okay, so when dancing Alemana, there's really 2 options, okay, how to step forward. The option number 1 that we typically teach in a bronze or sometimes even in a silver level is striking forward. Okay, so with that being said, we're not trying to delay, but instead, again in Alemana, we're simply striking forward on the left foot. Now, when we add the delay, that is going to make everything a bit more difficult. And the reason for that is because when we have a delay, we have to be very fast after the delay. And here's how we do it. On count number 2, I'm going to point, okay, but I would not change weight on 2. What I'm going to do is point, and then from here, be very quick with my weight change over the right foot. Demonstrating it again. Point, and. From a different angle. Point, and. The next thing that we need to do if we're trying to complete the Alemana is rotate and step forward. But the point, the moral of the story for this particular execution of the movement is that we have the actual point and delay before we move. And once again, from a different angle. If dancing the normal Alemana, I'm going to take a normal step, arrive on the foot, rotate, arrive on the foot, brush, and step forward towards my partner, male or female, the person who is leading the figure. Now, if I have a delay walk, do not step, do not put weight on it. Hold that 2. And 3, 4. Alright guys, 5 down, 2 more to go. The next one that I'm going to talk about is knee compress. So it's a forward walk with knee compress. Okay, now when we're doing the knee compress, we do have a twist. Okay, so technically speaking, we're trying to separate the upper body from the lower part when executing the step. Very slowly, I'm going to place the feet together slightly in a V shape. What I'm going to do is I'm going to twist the lower part, yet I'm keeping the upper part facing straight, and I'm going to point with the right knee and open. There is no body weight change on this particular figure. I'll demonstrate from a different angle. Okay, and one more time. Rotation, compression. Now the compression remains, right, because we always have a foot pressure on the foot that it's supposed to move. Okay, the standing foot as itself already has a body weight, so there's not that much to talk about there. We are not changing body weight, we do have a foot compression towards the floor. So every time when you're dancing any of the Rumba walks, that are 7, you do have to compress with the foot that it's constantly rolling. So if I'm having, for example, on my forward walk, what I'm doing right now is, although I'm trying to move the right foot of mine, I'm actually compressing towards the floor instead of simply bringing it in. All right, my friends, and the very last delayed walk, or actually Rumba walk overall, that I will explain is the back delayed walk. Okay, the back delayed walk is going to put some pressure on the foot that it's actually moving backwards, but we would not change body weight. Okay, we can always do it with the left in my case or with the right. It really doesn't matter, because eventually you will have both figures being executed in your choreography. Now when doing so, I do have my heel lifted, my knees are locked, and I do have my upper body poise. So with that being said, my forward poise remain, the upper body is compressing forward. So if I do it from a different angle, and this time actually I'm going to do it with the right foot and check. And now with the left foot, check. Okay. Now, the family of 3 delayed walks, right, we're using to gain speed. Okay, so if you get the Alemana, for example, with the forward walk, the straight knee delay walk, we have 2, 3, 4, 1. In order for us to look faster, we start implementing those delay walks. Now, that does not happen before probably towards the end of your silver experience as a student. All right, friends, we are at the end of our video. I'm going to demonstrate one more thing for you. We have discussed the 7 types of Rumba walks, and now I'm going to explain the 3 ways of doing your Alemana. Now, guys, when we're dancing Alemana, or I should say ladies, there's really 3 ways. The number 1 way, which probably you would learn when you're in the beginning of your Alemana journey, you're going to step with straight knee, fully arrive on the foot, rotate, then fully arrive on the right foot and finish it. Most likely you have to step forward if you'll be dancing, for example, a hip twist after. The second way of dancing it, which probably should happen after you learn how to do what I just explained, is with adding a brush in between. So you step on 2, you're going to brush in between, step forward, arrive on the foot, and then again most likely you have to finish it with the left foot. And the third and probably the most difficult way is with the delay walk. And here's how we do that. 2, 3, 4, 1. I'm going to demonstrate the 3 from a different angle. Left foot free, bronze level, 2, 3, most likely 4, 1. Silver level, 2, 3, 4, 1. And probably a bit more advanced, 2, 3, 4, 1. You may notice that when executing the delay walk, I still added a little bit of brushing. It's a personal preference, you don't have to do it. We are at the end of our video. I would like to thank you very much for being with me. If you have not subscribed to our channel, please do it. You can just go below the video. There's a red sign saying subscribe. Please hit the subscribe button. Stay tuned for more videos. And if you have any questions or any recommendations, if you would like to see a specific video, please leave us a comment below and we'll make sure that we do it.